Go ahead.
What's going to be the process with Trubosky now that he's packaged?
I'm going to see how he looks today. Hopefully he can go these 3 days, show us that he's healthy and can play at a high level, and hopefully he'll get some time in the game.
Is he a possibility, with week one being this close to play against the Lions?
I haven't seen him out there yet, so we're hoping so. We'll give him the chance to do it. He feels good right now, which is very encouraging. I think he started feeling a lot better while we were down in L.A., so I'm just pumped he wants to practice today, feels healthy enough to practice today, and we'll evaluate these 3 practices and decide for Sunday and then decide on our 53.
Is the expectation still for Trent Williams to practice this week, or is that?
Yeah, Trent's good to go. Yeah, he'll be at practice all week.
Is Nick Bosa good to go?
Yep, Nick's good to go. He's going to get some team reps today.
What do you want to see out of Nick? Just how he responds?
I think it's more mental to me with that. I mean, he looks great on the side. He looks doing all the football movements. I'm an individual and stuff, and to me, it's more of his mind, which all guys need coming off a serious injury like that. Nick's ready for football. He just needs to go through some reps and ease back in there, and hope feels good about it at the end of the day.
What about D Ford? Anything additional that he's going to ramp up to do this week?
No, D Ford's been good. He's been on a steady pace. I think he's gotten enough reps in this camp. We'll keep continuing with the same pace for these 3 days, and I'll decide on Sunday at the end of the week for him and pretty much all the players. But we're good with the pace he's been on.
Kyle, what have you liked out of Jimmy Garoppolo the past month? What have you seen?
I think he's just had more command at this time than he has any of the other years. Jimmy always gets there eventually, but I think he's come in, and I think that's natural with it being his 4th or 5th year. He came in the middle of our first year, but I think it's a lot easier for him just knowing what's coming off my lips before it does, knowing exactly how to spit it out, where to go. It just, when you don't have to think and all that stuff's effortless, the semantics of play calls and the offense, I think it's a lot easier to play.
You can learn from 2012 with Robert Griffin and apply it to now, just given it's a rookie quarterback and also a running quarterback?
You learn a lot when you get to experience different types of schemes and stuff. So everything I learned doing those 2 years, I think it's helped me everywhere I've gone. Whether with running quarterbacks or with not, you start to understand defenses the more you can use 11 guys. I learned a ton that year schematically because that was my first time being around it or doing something like that, and that stuff helped me throughout my whole career.
From a competitive advantage standpoint, what do you gain by not naming a starting quarterback at this time?
I look at more as what do you gain by naming it. There would be one reason I can think of by naming it that would help, and it'd be to end those questions. If you could give me another reason that's a big advantage that helps our team, affects anything that has to do with us, then I will name it. But I don't think it does. And, why tell people? I know you guys want an answer and stuff, which is fine. I get the suspense of it, but I'm not just going to answer it to end your guys' suspense. So.
Suspense is great. Keep going.
Oh, you're welcome. Hey, I'll try to get you more clicks.
I know it's a totally different situation. Going back to 2017, what did you see from Jimmy to know that he was ready? You said you have to see something from Trey. What did you see from Jimmy then to know that he was ready to start?
No, that he was the best quarterback in our building. So I saw it pretty fast and pretty early.
A few weeks ago, you said that Trey would play situationally. Has anything, or what, if anything, that he's done during camp has suggested that? What situationally might he be best at in that regard?
Depends who we're playing, what the situation is, what fronts. I don't know when that's going to happen. Could happen today, could happen week 1, could happen not till the end of the year. But I think you have a guy who has a skill set to come in and do some different things, and that's what we've been working him at, and we'll do that when we think it helps us.
Are there challenges doing that, just in terms of getting both guys in it and the work and shuttling guys in and out? What are the challenges with that?
Yeah, I would think so. That's what, I do it a little bit in practice. I think I'm doing a little bit more of it here these next 2 weeks, just for me to get used to it and stuff, for the guys to get used to it. Watching New Orleans doing it with Drew and Taysom has been pretty cool the last 3 years. I'm sure that took them some time to kind of get the flow of that, but it's nothing that you can say, hey, we did this in practice, so this is how it's going to be. You adjusted that in games, and you prepare for everything, but you don't know until you go through it. So that's why I don't sit here and pretend like I have all the answers, because I don't. You prepare for every situation, you work the guys to the best of their ability, and then you see what your game plan is, and you figure out what gives you the best chance to win that game, and you try to keep your thoughts just to that.
Sprinkling him in more part of an original plan that you've had all along, or is it more because he's maybe further along than you expected at this point?
No, I mean, I knew that when you do get a quarterback who does have a different skill set than your starter, regardless of whether they're ready to do a whole game or not or anything like that. I know watching other teams, having some experience myself, I know that can really affect people. I mean, you got to prepare for that stuff a lot. Other defenses, you can't just go out and play against something that you haven't been preparing against. So whether guys are doing it or not, it always helps that people are preparing to have that threat. And if it's effective and we think it helps us, then you do it more and more.
Kyle, you obviously spent some time in the Bay Area growing up. What was your recollection of the Raiders-49ers rivalry when you were in school?
I mean, when I was here, they were in L.A., so it was a little bit different. And my dad was actually the head coach of the L.A. Raiders for about 3 days, it felt like. But, I mean, I always knew, I've always known there's a big rivalry there, especially when they came back to Oakland and stuff. And, I mean, I love, you can tell just being around here with the fans and stuff. I think it's a little different now that they moved and stuff, but I know it's a little more exciting for a preseason game when you get a team to come back that does have a tradition like that. And anything that can add more excitement to preseason games, I'm all for.
This is the dress rehearsal. I mean, having that a little extra juice helpful along those lines.
I think it is. I think it's for the fans and stuff, and maybe people who watch it on TV. I don't think it affects us very much.
Did you ever meet Al Davis?
Yes, but I was a third grader, so I kept to myself on it. I didn't know everything that was going on, so I was just a fan around that time.
Are you in full regular season mode this week? I mean, are these practices like regular season practices?
No, I mean, the schedule is, that's my biggest thing. You want to dress rehearsal at the times. That's why we had a walkthrough. That's why we're doing the media now, and we'll have lunch. We'll go back out and do our normal practice. So everything, the meetings and everything are the same, but still the most important thing is how to get your individuals and your team completely ready for week one. So, yes, you try to spend a whole normal week so they know where they are in week one, but our main concern is just getting us as good as we can be, not just Oakland.
No, you won't tell us who, but have you decided on a week one start?
I got a pretty good idea, but as you guys can see with everything, I don't know our schedule a couple of days from now. So I've always had a pretty good idea. But there's lots of days between now and then at every position.
You may not even be alive.
I mean, I won't say it, but that is a fact. That is a fact.
Take two more guys.
You mentioned in the post-draft press conference that you kind of enjoyed watching everybody squirm over the decision between at the time people thought Mac Jones or Trey Lance. Are you enjoying squirm right now?
Not really. I'm not watching it too much. Then it was kind of more, I don't know if I might have used the word enjoyed, but I was more kind of amazed, all the strong opinions and everyone thinking they knew everything, and when I knew that no one did. So that was just kind of interesting to watch. I wouldn't say I was having fun watching it, but it was interesting. This situation, I feel like I've talked pretty consistent through this whole time, and I get everyone wants to keep talking about stuff, and I would love to help you guys and answer you guys, but I think you guys all got a pretty good idea, and I think our team does also.
Much about making that decision, or did you keep it to yourself?
I talked to John about everything. John's not coming down and he's the same as me. He's not sitting there asking what day it is or anything like that. We're pretty good about that. If we know where we're at and we know where we're going.
Anything else?
Real quick, one question was, you've talked a lot about wanting to hold off on naming Lance a starter, for example, until I feel like he gives you the best chance of winning. What is it you need to see from him to maybe feel that way?
I could talk for 6 days on that. It's about a quarterback giving us the best chance to win, and you don't just throw guys out just because of a skill set. You throw guys out because of how they work in your offense, how they work for your team, how the other plays tie to them, and what they're ready to do. We do have a quarterback with a lot of experience who's played at a high level, and we got a team, I think, that's got some pretty good experience that has the capability of playing at a high level. So you're trying to figure out how our 47 guys now on game day can play at the highest level possible, and whether they're starting or whether they're coming in, and there's so much that goes into it. That's why you will never get a straight answer from me. Good? All right, guys, thanks.
Kyle said he had a pretty good idea he'd be the starting quarterback in week 1. Do you have a pretty good idea?
Yeah, I have a pretty good idea.
You were smiling about it. That must mean something, right?
It's whatever he decides. Yeah, I'll. I have a pretty good idea. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now and everything, and just the offense as a whole. But yeah, Kyle's the head man. He'll make the call.
We had a good talk with your D's after practice Friday after the game. He said one of the things that you and him were talking about was your quick release and how you studied him and Aaron. Can you just talk about that aspect of your game and how you worked on it and got better at it?
Yeah, I mean, it's going back to when I first became a quarterback. Those were two of the first guys that I started, watching and just seeing how they play the game. Obviously, having been with Tom for a while, learned a lot of things from him too. But those two guys, Drew and Aaron, I thought did it at a high level. Just more similar style to me, I guess. And so, yeah, tried to copy them as much as I could.
Did Drew have any other advice on the situation you're in, which is kind of parallel to where he was 15 years ago?
A little bit. We were just kind of talking ball, really. We talked about the situation for a little bit, and just how him and Taysom did it, and it's a thing that I wasn't really used to, I guess you could say. Just the in and out part of it. So I was trying to pick his brain how he handled that, and you come out for a play or two and then go back in, how that all works.
What kind of advice did he give you on that?
I'll keep that between me and him, but just kind of stay ready type of thing. Just it's a different type of flow to the game. As a quarterback, you're used to being out there the whole time, and so it's just something that you just got to get reps at and get used to it.
You have to practice, the active practice, going out for free play or whatever it is, and then
Yeah, I mean, it's happened a little bit in training camp just with some of the different types of things we're doing with Trey. But, I mean, whenever I'm out there, I'll be ready to roll. It's just one of those things you just got to, it is what it is.
After what you went through in New England with Tom, do you have any advice for Trey for all the quarterback questions he gets on a daily basis?
I'm sure he's handling it like a champ. Trey's a good dude. He's pretty even keel for the most part. I think that's a big part of it. But I'm sure he's doing a great job with it. Advice for it? I don't know. Just be yourself, I guess.
Now that you watched film from the last game, what takeaways do you have from it?
Pretty much the same thing that I thought out there. We left some stuff out there. There was a couple plays that we should have easily had, plays that we've made before and we should have made in that one. But, like I said, the interception, that's me and BA have hit that a million times out here. We just got to come up with it and, we got to make it work. But other than that, I thought it was, like I said before, it was a pretty good drive.
You came in this training camp with more command than you have in the past. Did you feel that? Did you notice that yourself?
Yeah. I mean, it's not something that I tried to, do in the offseason. I've always had, leadership quality, I guess you could say. But I think just understanding the offense and having a better feel for where guys are, how to get guys in certain spots, calling the plays, all those little things that go into it. I think it just comes with experience, and that's one thing that I've noticed it out here, and it's paying off.
It takes a while to get a hold of that with his offense in particular?
Yeah, this offense is just different. We've cut down some of the verbiage and things like that, which makes it easier, but it's just it's a different type of offense. It's constantly changing. We're trying new things this day, and the next day we try this with it, and there's just a lot of moving parts that you have to, as a quarterback, mentally hone in on and focus. And once you do, it becomes a lot easier.
Specifically on moving parts, all the pre-snap motion stuff you guys do. What kind of workload does that add to your plate in terms of having to know where guys are? What kind of chaos it might have before a play?
Yeah, it adds a lot of work throughout the week. That's why once we get into the game planning part of it, it's totally different than what we've been doing in training camp. Training camp, you got the entire playbook, everything's at Kyle's access just like that, and you just have to be able to recall it. Once we get into the game plan, it's kind of, more condensed, and you kind of have an idea of what you're doing going into the game, and so it allows you to focus more and hone in on those little things.
Jimmy, what's the biggest focus for you in a dress rehearsal game for you in the first team offense?
I think just having all the guys out there would be really nice. Getting into a little rhythm. We haven't had that in one of these games yet. So getting into the rhythm, feeling everyone in the huddle, just seeing where everyone's at with everything, how we move, the tempo in and out of the huddle, all those little things. That's really what you look for in the dress rehearsal.
Jimmy, obviously, last one. As we've discussed all summer, they drafted a quarterback in the first round. What that means for you, but they drafted a right guard in the second round, and it means something for Daniel Brunskill. How has he responded, and just kind of what do you appreciate about him as a player?
Dan, he's a hard worker, man. He's a hard-nosed dude. Just comes in, you know what you're getting every day out of him. He has a little bit of sarcasm that keeps you on your toes, but I like that about him, and he just fits in with the crew. I mean, all 5 of those guys up front and all the guys interchanging, it's a good group we got in there, and I'm glad to be behind those guys.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, thanks, guys.
Hello.
Fred, what's the biggest goal for you in the dress rehearsal game with your first team defense?
To go out and play our style. We got a great team coming in, the Raiders. I don't know what the plan is for them, but when we're out there, we're going to go out there. We're going to play our style, play fast, play physical for as long as we can.
Is your expectation to play this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna do whatever the coach's plan is. I don't know how much I'll be playing, but if I'm out there, I'm gonna go all out. You know how I am.
Hard for you not to play the first couple.
Yeah. No, it's been tough being on the sidelines. I want to go through that pregame routine with the guys. Being in the home stadium, special to playing home Reds, so it should be fun this weekend.
You just have a lot of defensive linemen to get into the games and practices with some of the guys out. What have you seen from that group and the depth you guys have there?
Yeah, we have a ton of depth. Guys in the first and second group, even in the third group, guys who can all play in this league and be starters in this league. We've seen just the penetration, the get off, the disruption up front. Our defense, it all starts with them. When they're getting off and they're disrupting, it makes it easy for guys like me, everybody in the back end to do their jobs.
What's Bosa been like behind the scenes, and how eager do you think is he to get back in the practice field?
Yeah, Nick's been great. He's been locked in. He's been locked in the meeting in the film room. Out here, you see him doing his work on the side. He's eager. He's itching to get back out there. So, I have no doubt that he'll come back and be full go when the time's ready.
You and Nick were working in the end zone and down in Southern California on technique. What were the things that you were working on?
He's just such a technician at what he does. So I was trying to pick his brain a little bit pre-practice. Sorry, I know we got the plane. He's just such a technician with his hands and what he's looking at. I was just trying to pick his brain a little bit at what he's seeing when he's pass rushing, just so I can kind of try and add something to my game. You know, when I'm in there trying to pass rush.
Things that he does that he shared with you that'll help you.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to give away all his tricks, but you know, he's just from when he was a rookie. There's things that it takes so much time for young pass rushers to learn in terms of like hand placement, using your hands, using the offensive lineman, his weight against him, you know, and he's been just a vet at that since the moment he's walked onto the team. So trying to just pick his brain a little bit at that.
Yeah, Trent Williams spoke about how he's a little bit shorter than his brother, so he gets a little different leverage, and that makes a huge difference. And you kind of
Yeah, I mean his pad level, like you mentioned, his leverage, his strength. You know, he's able to get up and underneath guys pretty quickly and in a hurry. So, and I mean, just with his quickness, his speed, you got to be aware. There's so many different things you got to play for all in one snap. So.
Fred, there's in training camp, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's called thud tempo. Okay.
Yeah.
Then there's live tempo. You
Sure.
seem to have some sort of tempo that's between thud and live.
Two-hand touch.
Is that no?
Yeah.
I think it's a little more aggressive than thud. Is what I'm getting at. Is that? I mean, as you've become more
Trying to get me in
established.
trouble, man. Kyle's gonna be watching this, dude.
As you become more established in the NFL, do you feel more comfortable being a little more aggressive during camp? And how do you actually find the line so you don't obviously hurt anyone or get anyone too pissed off?
Yeah, it's a fine line. You want to make sure you're getting yourself ready for real football, but at the same time, you're trying to make sure you protect your teammates. That's always the point of emphasis when we come out here, protect the team. And I'm always going to play fast and play physical, but just got to look out for your teammates. So.
Thank you guys.
All right, guys. Thanks.